I was shocked to hear this. So a few months ago, DrexTheJoint was on live with some homies. They were dissing the neighborhoods, Crips, and then the homies was saying the hard ER. And Drex got a lot of backlash for essentially being anti-black and not liking black people. Now, at the time, Drex was claiming that he was not black. Now, in his first interview back,
It's such a mischaracterization already.
In his first interview back, in his first interview back, while addressing like the situation, Drex is now identifying as Afro-Mexican. So let's play the clip.
Identifying as
This nigga. She's like, me rapping got me culture shocked. Everybody in the comments like this put me on so much knowledge I never knew before. So to answer your question, I'm black as much as I am Mexican. Culturally, for sure, like I'm Mexican, like I'm Mexican as fuck. Like
because you were brought up in a Mexican household.
Yeah, but it's like it's one thing. I'm not a Blaxican. One thing there's a difference between being Blaxican. Blaxican is like when you have a black dad and like a Mexican mom. No, I'm not like that. Both of my parents are from the same town of Guerrero.
Is your biological dad like same skin color black?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother's a little. She's like brown, a little slight darker. But my dad, my real dad, my biological dad, he's darker. He's like my skin tone. I'm Afro-Mexican, which is like me rapping
as much
got
as
me
a
culture
Mexican.
shock. Everybody in the comments like this put me on so much knowledge I never knew before.
Yeah, man. So do y'all feel like Drex have finally realized by looking at his skin tone that he's black, or do you guys feel like this is like now a damage control to get people to forget about his past transgressions?
Well,
go ahead. You go first.
No.
Well, I was gonna say like I feel like Drex just came to the realization that it's like he looks a certain way. You have to acknowledge that like people are gonna mistake you and think that you're I mean obviously he is like he is Afro-Mexican, but it's about the culture though.
I'm not black.
But it's about I'm pretty sure he's talking about like culturally the way he grew up, speaking Spanish, like hanging out with Mexicans, like because what he said was right. Blaxican is different from being Afro-Mexican because those people have been there for hundreds of years and just have been there.
You're true, no, but and he said that a Blaxican is a black parent and a Mexican parent.
Yeah,
and he said I'm just as black as I am Mexican. So like, and he's claiming that my identity is black.
Yeah, phenotypically he looks Afro.
No, I think what he would like.
Well, we grew up in Mexico.
He's not saying that his like. First of all, if you watch that whole clip, he says he wasn't even aware that Afro-Latino was a thing. You feel like
has he seen himself?
No, you have to understand he's a young guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of these young, you think while he's out there sliding, he's picking up
How old is Drex?
Wait a minute. While he's out there sliding in the streets of Santa Ana, wherever he's from, you think this guy's looking and doing reading on like ethnicity? Because he says I'm as black as I am Mexican. Technically, you can't be as black as you are Mexican because Mexican is a nationality.
Right.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
Ethnically, he is African. And nationally,
which he said, by
right?
the way, if you watch
and so
the
nationalistically speaking, and he's probably more so than African. He's probably highly indigenous, like you know, so to speak. But what I would go by to say he definitely is African is his hair. That's a better indicator of what his ethnicity is because he got like that 4B Negro hair, that slave hair. So he probably comes from some African slaves who fled into Mexico.
Well, also
who got integrated with some
where he's from, Guerrero.
Guerrero, yeah, that's like southern Mexico.
Yeah, if you look at the way people look like from there, a lot of them look like.
But if you know history, slaves from the South
for sure
went into Mexico.
Absolutely.
They went into Guerrero and they
Absolutely.
hooked up with Latina chicks. So that's probably where his lineage mixes.
Also, the West Coast might be a little bit new to the whole like Afro-Latino thing because personally, I'm half Colombian, so. In Colombia, there's a lot of like black people speaking Spanish to me was like normal growing up. Like I saw that like a lot. Like, but I feel like in the Mexican culture is not too much of that being like shown. And then DrexTheJoint came out and is kind of like breaking the door open for the Afro-Mexicans. So
yeah, people because there's people that have like beyond the transatlantic slave trade. Like the origins go back. Like there's been people that. Like when you're talking about indigenous people.
Let's be done by the time Flacco gets
No.
back. Let's be done with all the topics.
No. No. But though, I would say though, like that for y'all to say that this was not Fam.
You think this is a PR
I've
move?
seen people. Wait. I've seen people prior to that incident tell Drex, bro, you black. No, I know black Mexico, right? So like you have pushed the line of being black, and then after the incident happened, after people are now calling you racist, after black platforms are now boycotting you, right? Now, wait, what y'all mean I'm racist towards black? I'm black. Hold on.
But he's admitting that he learned from the audience, bro. Like, you can't be...
After people and calling you racist, now you black.
Flacco.
He's a kid.
He was ignorant.
He's 20.
And I don't say ignorant in a bad way, ignorant as he just didn't know. But you'll be surprised at things you learn from reading your comments.
Have you ever been to Santa Ana?
Yeah.
Have you been to Santa Ana?
No, I don't know what that is.
Have you been? You've been to Santa Ana, right? So I used to live there last year, bro. Santa Ana really is like the one city in OC that's predominantly only Hispanic. So to hear it must be a trip to have your parents from Mexico, your homies are, in a Mexican clique, this and that. To have someone call you black might trip you out because you were raised in a way where it's like, I'm around Mexicans and I'm Mexican. Like, this is what I am. You feel me? So it's like,
for sure.
So for him, it might be like, I just think he's starting to realize the semantics of it and how it's different, like the way you say it.
And the thing is, there are dark Mexicans who don't have African lineage. There's indigenous Hispanics or Mexicans. They have straight hair, like the guy who cleans my carpet, Jose. He's darker than me. I don't think that guy has any black lineage. I mean, I think he's more indigenous, Native American. Those people, the further you go down south into South America, people get darker and darker. And is there some African ethnicity in there? Yes, there's some African DNA in there. But it's so far removed that it's been so like overlapped with Latino DNA or Hispanic DNA. There's nothing about their life that would give them this idea that, oh, I'm African or I'm black. Like,
right.
Just
that identity, they assimilate way more in that culture down there than here. You still have like a semblance of like your old kind of like what your culture is, but in Mexico, it's like damn near a third world country. So
I think I think a lot of it's been like, for a guy like Drex, has got to be, like you said, somewhat confusing. He's clearly like, physically, if you saw him, you'd be like, that's a black dude. There'd be no question.
It's because his hair. It's because his hair.
Just because his hair. I mean, like, and his like the complexion definitely is a.
Now, when he talks, you're gonna think, okay, he's clearly Hispanic.
But if you heard him on the phone, you probably wouldn't think.
You wouldn't know who.
Yeah, you'd think it was a Mexican dude you're talking to for sure. And he's like culturally is that way. Now
years back, he definitely had a problem getting haircuts.
Type shit. Now he has a biological.
You gotta go.
He has a biological brother who makes music from Mexico.
El Moreno Mexicano, he's dope.
El Moreno Mexicano, you feel me? And like looks very similar to him, is like his biological brother, same parents and everything, speaks Spanish and is like cracking out there, has his own wave. And that was like a big catalyst for him even discovering like the full extent of his roots, which is dope. But I don't think that Flacco is right that it's like a PR move to as far as like, oh, he's like pandering to black people. But I do think he needed to clarify to black folks, hey, like I am one of y'all. We are like part of the same thing, and it's no hate in my blood. Because like even in that one clip where Flacco was like, oh, he was using like racist words. No, he wasn't. Some of his homies said some racist shit, and he told them to stop. You feel me? He even said like, hey, don't, you feel me? He like kind of checked them, but he also kind of like let it go too.
You can only go so far.
Yeah. And that's what wound up. So just to clarify, when Flacco was like, oh, this is what happened, like there's a lot more nuances to that.
But I respect the young bro because he had the heart and the courage to admit, and just be honest, like, bro, I really just didn't know. A lot of people, they're too prideful to admit when they're wrong about something, especially when they say, you got black people on the internet, this is no joke, who truly believe they are indigenous Native Americans.
Right.
And if they do a DNA test, that bitch coming back 1,000% Nigerian or whatever. But just because Dane Calloway or one of these other crazy Wabo dudes got them hyped up on this idea, they will argue you down. I appreciate the fact that Drex is open-minded enough to say, well, I'm going to just stand on the facts and the evidence. The internet is a place where everyone's trying to be something they're not. especially African Americans. One day they're indigenous, the next day they're the Native Americans, the next day they're this. So I think bro is good. I don't think he was trying to like pretend or pander to the audience. I think he was just telling his life based on how, you know, he's becoming, his awareness is growing.
And it's got to be super confusing too, being like, you're like a black dude, but you're Mexican and grew up speaking Spanish.
And you're in
English,
Santa Ana, bro.
And you're in Santa Ana.
Which is
and
like...
let me add another layer to it. And you and all your homies say the N-word, like, you feel me? Not ER, you feel me? As like a term of endearment. And then sometimes when like there's racial funk, it's a hard R. Like that's gotta be super confusing. Like I've like kind of feel bad for bro, but you know, to be honest.
It is it's well, I mean, it just goes to show, like, I mean, like I don't like the fact that there's like racism that exists between like gangs and shit like that here in California. That shit is really like lame to me. Like I don't really like that shit, but it just goes to show that even he has homies. They accepted him. I don't like when people say that they don't view you as a real Mexican, because that's not true. I view him as a real Mexican. I'm Mexican. Like not everyone has the same opinions about that shit, but yeah.